What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to Blitz Sports Media. My name is Blitz Link, and I'm here with NFL Convo Bryce DeGroat. Free agency's over. We have a better idea of where this draft class is heading. Clearly, the draft is still a few weeks away, and we'll have a better idea at that point. But right now, Bryce, I think we have a pretty good idea of what's going to happen. So let's hop right into this thing. As you can see, we're on blitzsportsmedia.com. Free 7 rounds. You can trade. You can do whatever you want with this thing. There's no paywall behind it. That's pretty great. So the Las Vegas Raiders, they're first on the clock. Bryce, it's Fernando Mendoza. I know they just signed Kirk Cousins, but it's Fernando Mendoza.
Yeah, no overthinking that. Think that's probably the easiest pick on the entire board. For a silver up pick. Yeah, so we lead into pick 2, and I'm gonna go with Arvell Reese here. I think this is only picking up the closer we get to the draft of Reese being their guy, and I think it's a need. I think they need a linebacker. Well, they need a lot, but they definitely need a linebacker, and I think Reese is a good fit for them here.
Yeah, I know the clip of Arvell Reese doing the bag drill wasn't the most impressive thing that I've ever seen, but honestly, I think that the way it's going to pan out, like Reese is going to develop more as an edge as he gets more practice there. And I think with the Jets spending a second overall pick, he's not going to be a linebacker. He's going to be an edge rusher for them. And they feel like he's the best guy that they can select. So I like Arvell Reese in that 2 spot. Now, Arizona's interesting, Bryce. I think they could go a multitude of directions, whether that's edge rusher or offensive line. I have a feeling they're going to go offensive line here. I got Francis Mauigoa from Miami. He's an interesting type player. He could project more as a guard long term, but is going to give it a shot at the tackle position. He's pretty fluid. I do think he can develop a little bit more, but has the size, I think, to play the position. I like him there for Arizona, and I think tackle is going to be the way that they go in this draft.
I love it, dude. I go back and forth with them, really. Like, I go edge.
They're one of the harder teams to predict.
Yeah, 100%. I think they're one of the biggest toss-ups in the top 10 for sure. But then pick 4. I think the last time we did this, I had Jeremiah Love going there. But I'm gonna let him slip here. I'm gonna to go with Ruben Bain to the Titans.
Ooh.
I just look at it and I'm like, don't get me wrong, it's all smokescreen at this point. Robert Saleh saying, "Oh, I love our running back room." It's all smokescreen. I don't really take much from it. But I just look at him being a defensive-minded guy, and the edge rushers are really weak on this team. And I think Ruben Bain is a difference maker. So I'm gonna roll with him here and kind of let the running back fall a little bit.
All right. We're gonna go with Ruben Bain in that 4 slot. Interesting.
Don't mess this one up, please.
So the Giants. This is where I think it's like interesting because the Giants. I think it's just stupid that they would draft Jeremiah Love, as good as Jeremiah Love is. Right? They have Cam Skattebo. They're going to be able to run the ball effectively. Right? Why would you do that when you have so many holes in the secondary? And that is why I'm going Caleb Downs. Right? I know everybody's going to want to go Jeremiah Love in this spot, and because he's a great player, but if I'm a general manager and I look at my roster and I'm the New York Giants, why the hell would I pick Jeremiah Love? I can't cover anybody in the secondary. I have a great pass rush. I have a young quarterback. They need to develop this defense, and the offense has playmakers. They got Malik Neighbors. They got 2 tight ends now, and Isaiah Likely, Theo Johnson. Cam Skattebo was really good last season before that injury. Like, Jeremiah Love would be more of a – trying to think of the right way to say it. Would be more of a want than a need for this Giants team. And as good as Jeremiah Love is, I just don't think it makes a ton of sense. So I think that's where you wanted to go there, but I'm going to hold off on Jeremiah Love. I think there's 2 teams that he will go to, and I think one of them is upcoming here after this pick. What are you going with Cleveland then?
I was just saying, no, you hit that on the head. That's my favorite fit in the entire draft, Caleb Downs to the Giants. Harbaugh worked with Ed Reed. Harbaugh worked with Kyle Hamilton. I think Caleb Downs is right on that level if he's in New York, and I think it's such a big need. That's my favorite fit in the entire draft. That's what I want more than anything to happen. There's 2 other ones we'll hit on later in the draft, but that's arguably my favorite one. Browns. Man, if you didn't go with Francis Mauigoa, I probably was going to go with him here. But now, I still think they go offensive line. Like,
you think? Okay, all right.
Where do you at on this? I mean, kind of.
So I think offensive tackle or wide receiver is where Cleveland goes. So Carnell Tate is an option for them. But I mean, Spencer Fano has been mocked there. There have
Yeah,
been
let's go.
situations where
I want to
Fano
go
has been.
Fano. I think the O line. I mean, at the end of the day, like Shador struggles under pressure, and I think if they think he's the guy and want him to build up and really believe in him, I mean, you had all five O linemen hitting free agency this offseason. Like you need to fix it up a little bit. So I think I like that pick there.
Yeah, and the thing about it is Todd Monken, I know he didn't have the most say in Baltimore, but they threw the wide receiver position at the back end and didn't really address it much in their time in Baltimore. So who knows? Maybe Cleveland does that as well. Now at 7, I think the Commanders, while they can plug and play running backs better than anybody, Jeremiah Love makes the most sense in this spot for them, right? I think, unfortunately, with the Saints and the Chiefs going with different running backs, the two best fantasy football fits are out for Jeremiah Love, but the Commanders with Jaden Daniels, it would be a really efficient rushing attack, and Jeremiah Love's fantasy value and just production in this offense would be great next year. So Jeremiah Love is a Washington Commander.
Yep, no, I love that, man. And I'm gonna follow that up with the Saints taking Carnell Tate. Kind of get another OSU wide receiver on the team. I think Shuck showed a lot of good flashes last year. You had an ETN to kind of up the running back game, especially out of the backfield. And I think now you add a bona fide wide receiver one along with Chris Olave. I think this will really help his development and really get this team continue going in the right direction.
Yep. And so Cardinal Tate goes at 8, and then the Chiefs at 9. The Chiefs are an interesting one where it's going to be dependent on who's available. And there's two guys that make a ton of sense for them is Delaney from LSU and, David Bailey from Texas Tech. And I think they would go David Bailey if he fell to them at 9. He's an elite pass rusher off the edge. I honestly see him potentially going to the Jets if they decide to pass up on Arvell Reese. So David Bailey, I think the Chiefs would be happy with him falling to 9 and select him in that slot. So the Bengals are back up. Who are they going with?
I'm gonna go Sonny Styles here. Need a linebacker, need a game changer. You could say Delaney. I think from an overall talent standpoint, I'm very high on Delaney. I think Delaney's a top 5 player in the class. But then when it comes down to positional needs and all that, I think Sonny Styles is the pick here. And if you're going the way for, I'll let you take Miami. But yeah, I'm going Sonny Styles to the Bengals.
So my biggest thing with the Miami Dolphins is they should not have traded Jalen Waddle if they were just going to pick a wide receiver at 11. So I have the Dolphins holding off at receiver at this spot. And with this, it makes so much sense for them to go Mansour. Like he's going there. He's going at 11. Like,
dude, that's why I didn't. Dude, Cowboys, bro. I love the Delaney fit. I was hoping.
No. So wait. Okay. So here's the thing. I think we go back-to-back corners. Jermod McCoy just ran a 4.38 coming off a torn ACL, and he might arguably be just as good as Mansour if he was healthy for an entire year. So like back-to-back corners at 11 and 12, like who's to say that doesn't happen? All right, so 13. What are we thinking?
You broke up for a second. Wi-Fi almost went crashing, but we're back.
We're back. All right.
So yeah, you went Delaney and McCoy. Love that.
Yeah. So Mansour McCoy 13 for the Rams is an interesting one.
Yeah. Ooh. This is an interesting one because Vega, I think, kind of has my attention, but like it says here, shout out Blitz for having the needs. They need to tackle more than a guard, and I don't really think he gets moved like that. But man, I mean, the wide receiver, them talking about it going for a wide receiver is like, I find it hard to believe, but I also really don't find it hard to believe because the team doesn't have insane needs. So I think they go all in and get another wide receiver for Matthew Stafford, knowing that Devontae's pretty much out the door soon. So I'm gonna look, and why not throw my boy Mekhi Lemon to the Rams?
Hey, there he is. Mekhi Lemon goes to 13, and then at 14, I think they're gonna go Ione from Penn State, the guard. He's one of the best players in the draft class, just in terms of pure talent. Not at a premium position, but the Baltimore Ravens desperately need interior offensive line help. It's a great fit for them overall, and I think the Ravens would be really happy with that draft selection.
This could age terribly, but like I think the Ravens are the most confident team I could say. Like I will take every single dollar I have in my savings and I'll put it down that their first round pick is either on a wide receiver or offensive lineman. Like I think I could throw every single dollar on it and like feel safe. I don't see
As it
them go
should
any
be. As it
I
should
don't
be.
I don't know how they go any other position because there's a lot of these teams where like they'll kind of go off the rails that you don't really expect. I don't really see how this team can go any other route.
Yeah, they got to.
But Bucks here, ooh. Bucks are an interesting one. Like I really just kind of go back to the edge and linebacker. But then I also look at it and I'm like, this wide receiver room is Ibuka and washed up Chris Godwin. Like there's not much else around here. Should Jordan Tyson still be on the board at 15? And I think this comes down to he might not be on their board originally, but they don't really plan on him being here. And then once he's here, they're like, how do we pass up on him? Our wide receiver room isn't that good. We just lost Mike Evans. So I'm rolling with Jordan Tyson here, kind of like a little burner here.
So then my next question for you is who would the Jets go with then at pick 16?
Yeah, because you definitely were gonna say Tyson there, right?
Yeah, 100%.
Yep.
Yeah.
Who'd we have them taking the first time around? Arvell Reese.
Yeah,
Arvell Reese.
they get Arvell.
Man, this is kind of throws it in a
limbo.
Would you rule out Omar Cooper here? It's early.
I think it's early, but I mean, if you're trying to spice up a draft day and the Jets clearly have an appetite for making some interesting picks, I mean, who knows?
I also don't mind the E. Hannachord poll.
Ooh, really? Okay. You want to lock that in?
Yeah, let's do that. Let's go. E. Hannachord tackle.
Okay, so we got him at 16. I think the Lions at 17 go Monroe Freeling. Just a great fit for them overall in terms of what they need. Their offensive line is completely deplenished right now, and they need to get more talent on that side of the ball. Freeling makes way too much sense for the Lions. I think they could go cornerback as well. Maybe a guy like Avion Terrell at that slot, but Freeling makes a ton of sense. And then Minnesota, this would be a dream scenario for them.
Yep. So next like I mentioned earlier, how at pick 5, it's Caleb Downs to the Giants is one of my favorite. Here are my next 2 fits. So you obviously have the Panthers, but for the Vikings, it's Dylan Dynaman. I don't know why. Like obviously they all play a similar way, but I just when I see Dylan Dynaman, I just see a little bit of Cooper DeJean, and then oh my gosh, the safety that they have.
That's
Harrison
be
Smith.
Form.
Yeah,
it's got to be
he's
some
out
form of racism.
No, literally just turn on the film, bro. I think Dylan Dynaman. Dude, the thing is, I was so high on Cooper DeJean 2 years ago. Like, I thought he was a top 15 player, and people kind of call me crazy. And that's how I kind of look at Dylan Dynaman now. I really think he made huge adjustments from Purdue to Oregon, and great pick here.
All right, so yeah, at 19, Kenyon Sadiq. He's going to the Carolina Panthers, right? It just makes way too much sense. The need at tight end, the need to add weapons around Bryce Young to see what he is as a quarterback overall. Like, this guy needs to figure out, or not this guy, this team needs to figure out if he's their franchise quarterback. They got a great defense. They made the moves there that they needed to. So, Kenyon Sadiq, you are a Carolina Panther. Now the Cowboys are back up at 20 after going cornerback in the first round.
Yeah, no, that's my third favorite fit right there, Sadiq. I absolutely love that. I think that's a perfect fit. And then 20, man, because if we didn't go corner with McCoy earlier, right?
Yeah, we went
if we didn't go corner, I'd definitely be going Terrell here. But I look at the safety. I think they really bang out 2 secondary guys. So you're looking at, I'm not as high on him as most, but Emmanuel McNeil-Warren, I think he would be a solid pick here. I think you look at this team, that's the biggest weak spot, secondary. Why not go get 2 elite secondary players in the first round?
So we're locking it in? I like it. All right, Emmanuel McNeil-Warren, Toledo, a little MAC action guy. Actually,
yeah, literally.
All right, 21, Omar Cooper, Pittsburgh Steelers, sprinting to the pick right now. I think if Cooper makes it to this 21st slot, he makes a ton of sense for Pittsburgh overall. Pairing him with DK Metcalf, you get, 2 quality receivers for the first time in a long time in Pittsburgh. And now you have Michael Pittman Jr. as well. it's a really strong, trio of guys. And we know Mike McCarthy loves to throw the football. It's a match made in heaven.
Yep. No, I love that. I love that. I think that's another elite fit, you could say. You come up with the Chargers here. Ooh, this is an
Chargers.
interesting one.
Yeah, the Chargers are in a little bit of a weird spot. They're honestly a trade down candidate with their needs on the interior offensive line, or they just go out and reach. Where is he? Pregon or whatever. I can't pronounce his name very well. He's a guard from Oregon. He's like a projected early second round pick. Could they reach on him at 22? Maybe.
Ooh, man. Like kind of staring at this. I think I'm gonna go to use the Blitz Sports Media needs again. And like when I look at this team, I'm like, I don't know how much they need up front, but I think Peter Woods here, 22. I think this is another guy that probably fell down a little bit. I mean, if you asked a month or two ago, he probably was in like that top 15. So I think it's kind of a value pick at this point. And Blitz Sports Media says needs edge DT. Why not go fill that up?
Why not? Why not? And then Philly at 23, I think is interesting. I think edge makes a ton of sense for them, kind of with where they're going. And, we still don't know what the AJ Brown situation and how it's going to fall out. Looking at a lot of these guys, I think Keldrick Falk from Auburn makes a ton of sense for them. Kind of more of a project edge rusher, but really good against the run. And he's very young as well, a guy that can develop really good size to him. I think he makes a ton of sense for Philly if he lands in their laps at 23.
Yep. No, I like that a lot. I was either going to say him or Mesidor. The only reason why I thought about Mesidor is if they're still in kind of that win now mode, you get an older guy.
Yeah.
But either or, it's a need and a solid pick. And then you come up with the Browns. We took a tackle, or who did we take with them in the first?
We went, we went Spencer Fano, first pick for the Browns.
Tackle. So they took a tackle. You come up here. I mean, we talked earlier. They need a wide receiver. Why not go get Concepcion? You can argue Boston too, but I just think they need to add a wide receiver. And I know people are a little bit higher on him than I am, but I think late first round is a good spot.
Yeah, I like it. He's gonna go in the first round. I'm just gonna say that right now. There's a strong chance he goes in the first, and he makes a ton of sense overall for them. Now the Chicago Bears are up. They're in a interesting spot. They could go linebacker here, right? They had a lot of turnover on that defense. I think the biggest thing that they could benefit from is just a elite pass rush in general. Akeem Mesidor. Well, I know Ryan Poles said I'm not really super interested in terms of the pass rushers, and I thought we had injuries. That's all smoke and mirrors in my opinion. This team needs more pass rush help. Mesidor could provide that day one for the Chicago Bears.
Yeah, I like that. My mind would go to him or Banks for sure.
Yeah.
I like that. Then we come up with the Bills. The Bills, man. Oh, thing is, here I look at it and I'm like, don't think Avion Terrell would be a bad fit. CJ Allen, I just think it's a little bit too early for him. Caleb Banks. I kind of let you hop in here with me. What are you thinking?
I did a mock draft with our Bills guy David, and he's like, it's CJ Allen or Casey Concepcion. So I'm going to trust him. I think CJ Allen probably makes a ton of sense for them.
It's definitely a good fit. I just don't know if he would go this early, but I mean, who knows their boards, and it's definitely a need, so why not?
Screw it. All right, so the 49ers sitting here at 27. They're in an interesting situation because I think we really like the offense, but they need to add more talent on the defensive side of the ball consistently. They have a multitude of ways they can go. They can go corner here. They can go edge here. I don't love the safeties available right now with their draft selection, so maybe not at this point. But I think with San Francisco here, a high upside player that would make a ton of sense for them. I think it's Cassius Hal. Like, I know the arm length and all that type of stuff, but getting more pass rush help for this defense is exactly what they need. They were one of the worst pass rushes in football last year when Nick Bosa went down. They had other injuries as well. Just more help on that defensive line would go a long ways for San Francisco.
He was my favorite guy I interviewed, so he's got a spot in my heart. So I hope he gets in the first round and go balls. And then the Texans up next. This kind of is like interesting because similar to what we were saying earlier with some of those picks, I look at this team and I really think they need to add on this line more than anything. The offensive line. We know they have the best defense in the league. I think it's the best defense we've seen in a while. It was elite last year and only
Yeah.
got better this offseason. So I don't even really think they look at defense. I just think, how can we help CJ Stroud get back to his rookie self the best way possible? How can we get the run game a little more effective? And that's O-line. And I'm going to look at Caleb Lomu here. He's definitely more of a little bit of a pass blocker than a run blocker, but he's a solid player regardless, and I think he's going to fit in well.
Yeah, I like it. I like him and Blake Miller mostly to go to Texans, whoever it is. I think it's probably happening for them. And then Kansas City's back up here. I think they definitely are looking at secondary later. I mean, obviously it depends on how the first round or the first their first overall pick for them falls, and you know who they wind up getting. So we had David Bailey in this scenario with the guys available. Caleb Banks is an upside pick. Don't see it happening really though. You got Denzel Boston available in the slot. I don't really love the fit in terms of what they typically draft. So I'm looking at the cornerback position, and right now in the slot, Avion Terrell and Colton Hood are the two guys available. Personally, I am really high on Colton Hood, and I think he fits really well with what Kansas City does. He's a physical corner that plays really well in man coverage, and that's exactly what Kansas City does more than a majority of teams. I think he would be the best fit. While, you know, maybe I think Avion Terrell might go higher in this draft class.
Yeah, now I'm kind of saying here, is Caleb Banks going to fall out of the first round?
There's a lot of so him and Peter Woods, there's been a lot of variety in where they could go between the 20s, the 40s. You know, Banks has the injury concerns, Peter Woods has some injury concerns, so we'll see.
Yeah, no, I and it's weird too because Woods kind of started out like really hyped up and he kind of fell while Banks was kind of under the radar. Then he got hyped up and now he's kind of fallen back. It's kind of different directions, but yeah, Miami here. I know we took a corner earlier and you kind of mentioned wide receivers later on. Well, that's where I'm going to take the wide receiver, Denzel Boston. Another guy, I mean, I'm trying to dig into more film. I'm trying to really get a bigger grasp. I'm really kind of stumped on Concepcion in Boston. I'm higher on Concepcion, but I just truly don't know how I feel about these guys. I don't know if I look at them and I think they're game changers. Like, I truly don't. I think I take Omar Cooper over both them, to be completely honest. So I don't really know how I feel, but all I do know is they need a wide receiver, very much so. And late first round, I think is a good spot for them.
Yeah, and you know the team that's interesting is the Patriots. Is their pick going to get traded for AJ Brown? Are they going to decide to go with an edge rusher? I do think that is likely where they wind up going. Tackle Blake Miller maybe for them. But you know, TJ Parker's here. He's an interesting one. I don't really love him. I think a guy that we've seen mocked to them a lot is R. Mason Thomas not from New England, from Oklahoma. I think he's the guy that's more likely scenario for them to go off the edge. He kind of reminds me of Harold Landry, a guy that Mike Vrabel has continued to sign, find ways to put on the field. And I think, you know, R. Mason Thomas will likely be the pick here. And now Seattle's sitting here with a good amount of talent available at 32 and, you know, some positions to fill.
Yeah, no, and I'm gonna go to Terrell here. This defense was insane this year, but you lose some pieces in free agency, and I don't think they're going to be as good as they were this past year. So why not go get Terrell, which if at this point I think becomes one of the biggest steals of the draft. I think him falling down to 32 is a great value pick. So that wraps that up.
Yeah, and I mean, looking at our first round right here, we got some quality picks mixing here. Me and Bryce definitely got this 100% right. So if you guys want to go bet on all these draft selections, you can make a lot of money because me and Bryce saw the script. It got leaked, and we got every single one of these picks right. No big deal. No big deal.
On a real note, if you had to look at this outside of let's go outside the top 5. What would be your most confident that we got right, and which one would be like no shot we got right?
Outside of the top 5, the most confident that we got, I'm gonna say I own to the Ravens.
Yeah, I think Mansour to the Dolphins. The thing is, the Chiefs might grab him there, but I really think that's a very good possibility.
Which one do you, least like on our selections?
To be completely honest, I don't think there's a shot Peter Woods is going to the Chargers. I think that is just not happening. Yeah. Honestly, I think Sadiq to the Panthers has a really good shot as well. I think that one or like Mansour would be like my favorite too. Oh, actually, Dylan Thieneman too. Those
I
would be
think,
my top three that I'm like, I love.
I love the Thieneman and Sadiq fits. I think that Thieneman's a guy that might go earlier than people think. Like I think he could be around this 11 to 12 range or even 10 to Cincinnati with what they got on the defensive side of the ball. So all in all, pretty loaded first round draft from us here at Blitz Sports Media. This is our post free agency one. Let us know down in the comment section below. Did we completely botch your favorite team's pick, or did we hit it right on the spot and you're happy and you think your team's making the Super Bowl next year? Hit that subscribe button and drop a comment down below. Me and Bryce will catch you all next time.